Guys, it's time for a little White Sox talk.
Oh, Lordy.
I look pretty good in that picture, I'll be honest.
No, we both look good.
But yeah, so we're going to do a good amount of White Sox
deal.
talk, just a fair warning to everybody, but I think we're going to have some fun with it tonight. And
Love it.
Be a good time.
the hot thing in the news right now is where's Garrett Crochet going to go? It feels more and more like he's going to be traded this offseason. Me and Beef just did a whole bunch of trades, and we want to talk a little bit about the Garrett Crochet trade value. And Beef, I'll hand it to you if you want to take it from here.
Yeah, sounds good. So I was kind of curious because I've seen a lot of shit out there on Twitter, and I seen some outrageous expectations by White Sox fans. I'm like, I always think we're centered, we're even, we're drunk most of the time, and that's why we can kind of be the median. But more and more I've seen it, and I'm like, wait a minute, am I thinking about this wrong? Do people think Garrett Crochet in 2024 offseason is more valuable than Dylan Cease in the 2023 offseason? So I ran a poll on my own Twitter account, and it came out pretty close. But the majority, over 543 votes, believe yes, that current Garrett Crochet more valuable than last year's Dylan Cease. So I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. What you think about their prospective trade values? Treasy, I'd love for you to start. Do you think that the 2024 offseason Garrett Crochet is more valuable than 2023 offseason Dylan Cease?
I think yes, actually. And like when we were first doing the trades, I was going through it and I was going, I don't think they're going to get a lot for him. And like even so, we'll get to some of the trades in a little while, but like I was even like, maybe we got to throw something else in to really get a high prospect. But like the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm looking at the off season. There's not as many pitchers available as there were last year.
Right.
There's not another trade piece pitcher that's really obvious this year, like there was with Corbin Burns last year. And then the teams that you start reading about, there's a lot of teams that are going, well, we need to stay under the luxury tax, or we need to spend less this year. We're trying to dial it back. A lot of people are having trouble with their TV deals and things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of teams are saving money for other players, right? But like with the free agent market the way it is, with the teams looking to spend less, add to it that Crochet is willing to sign an extension, and that he's coming off a really good year as opposed to Dylan Cease, who was coming off a not so good year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tracy, I looked it up
in
because,
the direction.
Yeah, I would say, look, just to add on to your, Dylan Cease was not coming off a very good year. I had forgotten, so I went and looked it up. 4.58 ERA for a Dylan Cease.
Yeah,
in 2023. He was not.
There was a
very
lot of
good.
people saying that, like the Cy Young. I think you remember this. Like everyone's saying, like the Cy Young year was the abnormality. It was the
outlier.
It was the thing that won't happen again. The other stuff is just who Dylan Cease is. That was kind of the sell. With Crochet, there's not a big sample size of success.
No.
There's definitely some injury risk, right? Like with any hard throwing pitcher, and with a guy who has not been healthy in the major leagues or even in college, right? Like so, there's just such an unknown there. But I don't think that that's enough to outweigh all the other things I said.
Interesting. Go ahead, MSS. Yeah,
I think the favorability of the contract is the biggest thing. Like you're going to get a cheap guy, and as we noted in the last podcast, TJ McFarland is already off the board, like immediately going into the next year. So like, but it's
effective guys are getting signed.
Pitching is going to be at a premium. So now this is a guy that's going to be cheap. He's controllable. Now, what he has over what he has over Dylan Cease is he doesn't have those games where he came in and he was throwing a perfect strike one inning and then over the backstop the next inning. He doesn't have that track record. He wasn't pushed in there because the motherfucker was hurt. So you didn't get to see all the bad shit.
Right.
So this is almost like a perfect thing, right? Like he came out, he blew the fucking doors off this year, looked great, right, for what he did. It wasn't,
absolutely.
Listen, he had a shit record. We have a shitty team, 121 fucking losses.
Right.
You can't blame all his losses on him. I think he definitely wanted to get out of the system because he talked shit, but with his agent putting the shit out there after he talked to Getz, he wants to get moved. So I still think that this is he does have more value crazily than Dylan Cease because of some of the unknown shit. And it's weird to see other people that are like so latched on to the unknown shit, not just the White Sox fans, because we love unknown shit. So like it just when I initially saw the question, I was just like, no, there's no way he has more value because of this, and this. And then it's like, actually, no, because he's gone out and done what he's supposed to do. He does have more value. So, hey, man, fucking go out there and don't get fleeced, Gets.
Beef, before you scold us, let's get this drink from Trey. Says, hope all is well, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you, Trey.
Appreciate you,
Cheers.
Trey. Thank you, my friend. No, I'm not going to scold you guys at all because my initial thinking, I'm low man on Dylan Cease if there was ever a low man on Dylan Cease. We had Rick Giolito on this podcast 4 or 5 years ago, and I told him Dylan Cease couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. He would never be good. He's a fucking reliever, all that shit. Rick Giolito undressed my ass and was totally right. Dylan Cease ended up being a very good starting pitcher. And obviously, makes sense, right? My thought process, though, and I hate that he has all the walks and all this shit.
Just real quick, he dressed you down. He didn't undress you.
Well, he wanted to, maybe he wanted to. You know, he's very friendly. He's a friendly guy. You know, I haven't DM'd him in a while. I gotta.
Montana might have like gotten into the undressing and beat him with a chain.
But my thinking the entire time, boys, was if you look at Dylan Cease, so this is in 2021, 32 starts. In 2022, 32 starts. In 2023, 33 starts. He always answers the bell. And it's like that level of certainty when you're buying, I would think would be more interesting to the buyers, or it provides a level of safety for him, like a lower bound to what you're getting, as opposed to a guy who had never started before, had an awesome first half of the season, had a little bit of when they started pulling the innings down, he struggled for a little bit, Crochet. And then he kicked it into gear kind of at the very end, kind of before the end of the season, but did get his 32 starts. I thought the difference there would be just like the things that you do know. But MSS brings up a great point. It reminds me of way back in, I think it was 2018, when Nathan Eovaldi had that great playoffs for the Red Sox, and he had been hurt 17 years in a row, Treasy. And I saw someone put a projection out there that he's going to get 3-60 or whatever. And you and I were like, that's insane. This guy's never healthy.
Who would do
that? And he did get it because the teams nowadays are just going to buy the skills. And then we'll see what happens. And I saw someone on Twitter talk about, and some of the biometrics will look at the player, regardless of them being hurt, and figure out, okay, based on the movements or whatever, are they at high risk for injury again? So that might even slim it down a little bit more, where people aren't that afraid. So I flipped over. I thought Cease was more valuable. I'm on the side of Crochet now, and that poll and all the discussion has moved me on the Crochet side.